welcome or welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Alethea. Today, I'm starting the fall series, the fall cooking series, like I said previously. I will be making today a fall hearty stew, and I found this recipe in a magazine and I wanted to try for you guys because it has a lot of vegetables in it and a lot of goodness for us in this dish here. So I want to show you this recipe. Is a very quick and simple recipe that you can make. Basically, you're putting all the ingredients into a crock pot. If you have a crock pot, you're putting all your ingredients into the crock pot. You're setting it for 6 hours, and that's it. So it's very hearty for you. So I think you guys will enjoy this, and I'm encouraging you guys to try this because it has all your vitamins in here, the essentials that you need for your body to remain healthy. We have the ingredients. The first ingredients that I'm going to add in here are, let's get started with the broth part. I'm using a 32-ounce container of vegetable broth. Now, the recipe called for chicken broth, but I wanted to try vegetable broth in this here recipe. So I'm going to put this into the crock pot. And after you do this, we're going to go ahead and add our seasonings in here. Now, when the dish is just about done, you can take the lid. You can take the lid off at any time and check to see how you can taste a little bit of the broth to see if it's enough seasoning in there for you or not. Some people like to add a little bit more seasonings into their foods, which is okay, as long as you don't overdo it with the salt and the sodium. That's not really healthy for us, unless you use like a Celtic salt, something like that. So I have the vegetable broth in here. It's a 32-ounce container of the vegetable broth. I'm going to add some garlic powder. Now, I can't give you the exact measurement of my seasonings because I just eyeball it. So you can put a little bit if you like garlic. Go for it. You can even add the fresh garlic in here. That makes it even more flavorful. So I'm going to put my garlic in here now. I like garlic, so I add a little bit more. I'm going to add just a little bit of adobo. And I'm going to add some everything but the elote seasoning. So I'm going to add this into my broth here. And I'm going to add some Italian seasoning in here. I like my Italian seasoning. Smells good. I smell that elote seasoning very well. Now, I cut up some fresh parsley. The recipe called for fresh cilantro. When I was in the grocery store, I was in a hurry. I thought I was picking up cilantro until I got home, and I was like, this is parsley. So we're adding some of this in here anyway. Fresh parsley, chopped up. Okay, and I'm putting in, let's see, half a cup of barley. Now I got this Quaker quick barley. So we're adding a half a cup of barley into the crock pot. Okay, looks like oats, really. But it's not oatmeal, it's barley. And that's good for you too. Now I'm going to add, what else do I have here? Oh, I have just give me a second. So this is 2 pounds of I cut this up myself, pieces of chicken thighs. I went ahead and I seasoned this, and it's been marinating in the seasoning overnight in the fridge. So you want to cut the pieces up like cubed like pieces. So that's in there with this, and I gave it a little stir in my crock pot. Okay, next I am going to add in our vegetables, which is 2 celery stalks chopped up, 3 carrots cut up. I cut them up into small pieces. You can make them smaller or you can make them a little bigger, depending on how you like it. 1 whole onion cut up, and some mushrooms. I didn't measure the mushrooms. I just put a few in here. So all this is going into our crock pot. And again, this is going to be another fall dish that you can make, you know, for lunch or dinner. It could be a weekend meal, any day of the week meal, really. So I'm mixing this all up in here in the crock pot. Very simple, very easy. This will be a great weeknight meal, I think, you know, if you're going to work and put this in your crock pot in the morning. When you come home, your dinner's just about there, done. Or it will be done. Okay, now the last ingredient I'm adding, I have this in 2 bowls, is my 6 cups of chopped kale. I went ahead and chopped this up. We're going to add that into our crock pot. And it looks like it's more vegetables and chicken and all that goodness in here than it is the broth. But kale is like spinach. It's a tender green, and it's going to cook down to like little to nothing. So it may look like it's overloaded right now, but it's going to cook down and blend all together, and you'll be surprised and amazed. Well, some of this is falling out of the pot here. So what I'm going to do is, since it's like this, I'm just going to add a little bit more of my garlic on top, so that when it cooks down, you know, everything is going to like blend in, and there's going to be some more seasoning on top. Now we're going to put the lid on this crock pot lid, and like I said, we are going to set this for 6 hours, and I will be back with you guys a little later to show you the final presentation of this quick meal for you guys. Just a fall hearty stew. So I'll be back in a little bit to show you the final presentation of everything. And I just want to say, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, so you'll every time I upload, you'll be notified. So we'll be making fall treats starting today, which this is one of them, hearty stew. So I'll be back in a little bit to show you the final presentation of everything. Excuse me. See you then. Okay, so while our stew is cooking in the crock pot, I wanted to come back and show you real quick how to make a dessert that we'll be having today. And not only that, you can eat this as a dessert, you can have this for breakfast too. It's called baked stuffed apples. So we'll be having it today for our dessert. So I wanted to show you guys real quick how to make this while that's cooking. And you'll see the final presentation of this at the end with our fall stew. So the ingredients are 4 Gala apples. Now you're going to core these apples. So you're going to cut out the core, the seed in it. You're going to make a hollow in them. So it's 4 of the Gala apples. We have a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. We have a 1/2 cup of, not a 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup of cranberries, dried cranberries. We have 1/4 cup of raisins. I'm putting a dash of vanilla extract in mine. We also have, what is this? 2 teaspoons, no, I'm sorry, a 1/2 teaspoon of grated orange. Now, if you put like 3/4 teaspoon in there or 1 teaspoon of grated orange, it's fine, because that's going to bring out the flavorings in your baked apple. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon of a grated orange. And what else we have? 1 tablespoon of butter, room temperature, but I melted it slightly. So we have that. We're going to mix all these ingredients in there. We also have our seasoning, which is I'm using pumpkin pie spice. The recipe called for cinnamon, but cinnamon is in here also with the pumpkin pie spice. So I'm going to put some pumpkin pie spice in this mixture, which is, you can eyeball it. I didn't have it written down, but you can eyeball this, maybe a half a teaspoon of this, or 1/4 teaspoon. And we have our 1/4 cup of honey. Now you're going to reserve some of this honey, and you're going to drizzle this over the apples when they come out the oven. So remember that. So the next clip you're going to see is me making all this and preparing this. And we're going to put this in the oven a little bit later. And like I said, I'll be back to show you the final presentation of our dessert and also our main dish, which is our fall stew. So I'll be back. Stay tuned. And we're back with our final presentation 5 hours later of our hearty fall stew with biscuits. And making it in the crock pot, it comes out real tender. Like I said, you could just put your ingredients in there, all the ingredients, and then put a lid on it and just go about your day, come back and you have your meal. If you don't have a crock pot, you can also cook this in a big pot on your stove, and do the same thing, but don't, go out, but just stay around it. It'll take about a couple hours because you want your chicken real tender. For dessert, we have our stuffed baked apples, which was baked with, we hollowed the core out the apples, and we made a mixture of honey, butter, raisins, cranberries, and walnuts, and we mix it together and we put it in here with a little bit of vanilla extract and our pumpkin spice seasoning. We mix that up and put them in each apple. We bake them on 350 for 50 minutes, depending on your oven, and you cover it with aluminum foil before you put it in there. And we have our Cool Whip to go on each apple. So here you have your fall meal. Quick and easy, effortless, one pot dish, very hearty stew. You should try it. You don't have to make it with chicken. You can make it with just the vegetables alone, and just maybe add a little bit more barley. Instead of a half a cup of barley, put a whole cup of barley in there, and it'll be very delicious also. So if you like this video, again, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Cooking with Alethea. I will be on next week, and we'll be making another fall dish. Have a good week, everybody. I will see you then. Bye-bye.